Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is part 5 of my 2020 special. And here's a very, very interesting controller for the first PlayStation. It also works on the PlayStation 2. And for those who never heard of such a thing, heard of this type of controller, it shouldn't be much of a surprise. In fact, I never heard about this until, sometime last year. And I actually found out about this over at Instagram. Someone put a picture of this thing, and I was like, wow. Everyone was like, what is that? And I was the same thing myself. It was like, wow, this looks like something for a Jinsei game over in Japan. For those who don't know what Jinsei is, it's basically what Japan calls their version of Milton Bradley's Game of Life, and a lot of their video game Jinsei adaptations had, instead of being 10 or 6 spaces, like our versions have, it is 8. So I saw this, and people are asking, what is this? And the person said, yeah, it's the Takara Roulette controller. And I said, let's go over to eBay and see if they have any of these things. And sure enough, I saw a listing going for $35 in free shipping from Japan. I'm like, get it! And I did. And a few weeks later, it arrived. This is actual proof that it exists. Let me spin it for you. Whoa, goodness. Yes, the wheel is detachable. Let me see if I can land. Yeah. Actual proof right there. So let me take this apart. This is how these little black strips here, that's how this old thing determines what you landed on. So really cool. And interestingly enough, this thing was made for only one game of all. Just only one. I don't know what not only do I not have the game, I don't even know the game it was for, but I do know it was for a Jinsei game released for the PlayStation 1. And like I said, this game clearly works on the PlayStation 2. In fact, it says PlayStation, PS1, PS2. So, now the other thing I also wanted to show you, well, actually, before I do that, I will tell you that this is a really, really cool controller to have. Let me turn this around, just show you the back side. And here's the back side of that. And this is a really nice, if you're a PlayStation fan, I recommend trying to get your hands on this. And even if you're, it's a really nice piece of PlayStation history just to have. And if you're also a big fan of the Game of Life, or even Wheel of Fortune, try and get your hands on one of these. These are pretty rare, from what I can imagine. I was very lucky. I mean, just so happened there was a listing for one of these things. Now, speaking of Wheel of Fortune, here's the other thing that I have to show you, that I would like to show you. So, let me try and get it out. We've got to be very careful with this thing. Yeah, oh boy. Oh, it's still in the envelope. Very good. I love the way that the guy shipped this. So, let me show you. So before I tell you what it is, let me show you this, a little screenshot of a Wheel of Fortune episode back in 1992. So ladies and gentlemen, that was then, this is now. This is an actual free spin token used on Wheel of Fortune back in 1992. And it's kind of funny. Earlier last year, I remember there was a surprise wedge being put up on eBay back in May, and I remember the day it ended was the day before Wheel aired its 7,000th episode in syndication. And unfortunately, it was there was just a huge bidding war, and my bids were too little, too low to get my to even be entered. All of my bids were just too little, too low, and it went for over $600. I just said, can't do it. But my free spin token that I got here, this is just like the surprise wedge. The free spin isn't no longer used on the show. It's here's some adhesive on it. Free spin has now been replaced by free play, and now it's resting in this old thing, packaged, being nice and safe. It has clearly seen better days. Here's some close-ups of it. Clearly shows, but even so, this is a really nice piece of Wheel of Fortune memorabilia to have. I also have an actual prize wedge used on the show. I got that back in late 2014. It's a prize wedge marked Collect. It was used back in 94, 95 or so. But now I got something that has some pretty nice glitz, you know. So free spin, like I said, it's no longer used on the show. It's in play. It's used instead by free play. It's been replaced by free play, and I do admit that free play I think is a better element than free spin. And not long after free play's premiere, Pad went into why. It's like free spin. Well, even after using your free spin token, you don't spin again. Some people would buy a vowel after using it, and others would just solve the puzzle. And that has happened. So I think free play is a little bit more appropriate. But still, it's having an old piece of Wheel of Fortune history, having a retired piece of Wheel of Fortune history, here is really, really nice. But if you thought this was nice enough, guys, I got one more part for you, and you are not going to believe what I have to show you in the next part. So that'll be up shortly, and that's going to be for a very lovely finale. It was something that I've been waiting just a long, long, long time to get, and I had a lot of support for during this journey to get my hands on this. So I will tell you what it is in the next part. Trust me, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss it. So it'll be up. So I'll see you in part 6, the final part.